coach coming at you. Today we're going to talk about burpees. All right, so silly me, the other day I made a post kind of going over my generalized opinion of burpees, that they're not a bad exercise, but they are very poorly applied typically. So with that all being said, kind of some better options than just doing burpees just to do burpees, because they really don't help you get stronger or better at anything other than burpees. So among my amputee limb loss friends, I kind of started the conversation, is it even possible for an amputee to do burpees? On this level of amputation, should I do burpees? Well, look, it doesn't really matter if you do or if you don't, as long as it's a safe and well applied exercise for you. But today I'm going to go over a few different progressions of the burpees, and ultimately at the end of this video you're going to get to see me do a couple of burpees in my full length prosthetics. But before we get to that, I kind of want to show you how one would work up to it. So the exercise that we're going to go over today is a walkout. And the walkout, basically put, is getting down to the floor and getting back up. We're going to work on that, then we're going to work on progressing that until we ultimately end up doing some burpees. All right, so the walkout, like I said, fine art of just getting down to the floor and getting back up from the floor. Regardless of your amputation level or where you're at in the recovery journey, this is something that you should always be working on, because you don't want to lose the strength that's necessary to get up from the floor. So by consciously practicing that as a skill, we're able to get better at it to where when we do have to do it, it's not actually going to be that big of a problem for us to get up from the floor. So all I'm going to do is start by standing. I'm going to maybe go just a little bit wider than what your normal stance would be. Just going to touch the ground, walk myself out until I'm in a push-up position, and then walk myself back up to standing. Now, like I said, anywhere that you're at in your rehabilitation journey, this is a good idea to start practicing this, regardless of if you're wearing really short stubbies like myself, or if you're a little bit taller. Obviously, the strength to get up from the floor is necessary to live a fully functional and independent life. So, from the side, all I'm going to do, crease over at the waist, touch the floor, walk out. Body should be in a mostly straight line from the back of the knees that I don't have to my butt to my head, and then back up. Simple enough, all right? Now, depending on where you're at in your journey, that might be enough right now to do as its own independent exercise. String together 5 to 10 of those at a time and see how much exertion you get out of it, and then work your way from there. If it turns into like, oh God, this is actually exercise and it's really challenging, then work on that for a little bit, all right? Now, to progress the walkout, we're just going to add a push-up at the bottom. All that I'm going to do here is same thing that I did before, crease at the hips, walk myself out onto my hands, and then hit a push-up at the bottom. Walk back up. Simple enough, right? All right. A couple other things we could do would be walking out, hitting a torso twist, either side, walk back up. You can walk out, and then walk your residual limbs in behind you, and then continue to walk out. Number of different ways to progress that. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for, doing a burpee in your stubbies. Now, we'll tell you, doing a burpee is completely counter to how to fall properly without getting hurt, because you do land on kind of outstretched limbs, and that's not something that you want, that's not a habit that you want to get into at all. But if you're looking to exercise, looking to get a lot more out of your current routine, then burpees are just fine, and they're definitely going to be safer performed in your foreshortened prostheses than from full-length prosthetics. We'll get there, don't worry. All right, so all I'm going to do, feet outside the shoulders, hands out in front. I like to land with just a little bit of bend in my elbows. That way I do have some tension there, not landing totally outstretched. All right, all I'm going to do is go down to the ground, get right back up. From the front, just like that. Not an easy exercise, guys. Not something that I would really recommend doing all the time. If you want to throw it in here or there, sure, why not? If you want to get your heart rate up, I just did 4 or 5 of them right there and feeling it. All right. So that all being said, next up, we're going to talk about doing burpees in full-length prosthetics. I grew taller. Holy cow! I'm in my full-length prosthetics now, guys. We're going to take some of the same movements that I just did with the walkout, and we're going to apply them to being in your full-length prosthetics. So I'm wearing my sea leg 4s. Like I said before, it doesn't matter what your amputation level is or what prosthetics you're in. You should be practicing these sorts of drills so that you can continue to function at a very high level if that's what you want to do. I know for me that's completely necessary to remain functioning at a very high level so that I can be the best that I can be in my daily life. So all we're going to do is take the same walkout that we just did in our stubbies and apply it to full-length prosthetics. So I'm going to start this off just a little bit wider than my shoulders, and I'm going to bend at the waist, soft bend to the knees, work my way down until I touch the floor, and walk out into that push-up position. Walk myself back up, push up off the floor, and I'm standing back up again. The same progressions that we just did in our stubbies can also be applied to the full-length prosthetic version of the walkout exercise. So a walkout into a push-up looks like knees soft, butt back, touch the ground, walk yourself out, hit a push-up, walk yourself back up. Just like that, all right? A walkout into a T. Knees soft, butt back. Keep your back flat as long as you can. Down till you touch the ground. Walk out. Form a T. Form another T. Walk back up to standing. Just like that. All right. The moment we've all been waiting for. Doing a burpee in bilateral above knee, full-length prosthetics. Not something that I would recommend, but the people want to see it, so I'll show you. Like I said, there is a very fine line between what's possible and what's safe and effective. When it comes to doing burpees, there are plenty of safe and effective alternatives. This is mostly just to show you that this is possible. All right? Start off, feet nice and wide, right outside of the shoulders. All I'm going to do is sprawl my legs out behind me. Like I said, I like to hit the ground with my elbows slightly bent. That way I'm not worried about hyperextending, landing on a fully outstretched hand, just like this. Up. From the side. Lose your leg cover. And back up. Not really seamless, super effective. Sweating, my heart rate's up. My Apple Watch just asked me if I fell. It definitely did, but I got right back up. And that's what counts, right guys? All right, thank you for taking the time to watch this. Just want to show you guys what's possible. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, drop it in the comment box below. Shoot me a message. Really appreciate you guys. Take it easy.